Hey, it's Don the Sarge. How we doing? I'm gonna kick back a little bit in my office and have a quick talk with you. I got quite a bit written down below this, so you can go through it in detail. But I wanted to highlight some things that might be important to you if you're a homeowner or if you're fixing to be a homeowner. Now, I let me give you a little bit of background in some of my past, so it makes sense for what we're going to talk about. You know, as a young man, I went into the military. You've heard that before. I spent time as a combat engineer. That means we got to play with landmines and explosives and C4 and all that good stuff and build combat bridges for rivers and, a lot of stuff that we don't use as much today, but back in the day was important. I was also a paratrooper, so I jumped out of airplanes and helicopters and was trained to do those kind of missions by jumping out behind enemy lines and doing the job. But at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, jumping out of planes is cool. But at the end of the day, our basic job, our real job, regardless of what duties we actually performed, was to protect people. I mean, that's the bottom line. Protect people wherever we were called to serve. Well, I got out and moved into some other things, and I initially moved into sales, but I moved into a line where I still got to do what I'm doing today, what I did in the military for all those years: protect people. I just do it a little differently. I help them protect their assets. I help them protect their earning capability so that when things go south or you die, your family, your loved ones, those who you care about, get to stay in the home that you have worked so hard all these years to have. So fast forwarding, here I am 60 years of age, and I am still helping people protect themselves. I'm still out protecting families and changing lives. Recently, one of my colleagues had a gentleman who got with him. They set up a program. It was designed to take care of some things on the mortgage for a period of time, because not everybody can afford enough to pay it off. But there are different ways of protecting the mortgage, and this was to cover the mortgage payments for a year or two while the family got in a position of what they wanted to do and dealt with the tragedy and the sorrow and the heartbreak, but didn't have to worry about the financial stress of the house and a few other things. This gentleman only made a few payments and ended up passing away. And that family now doesn't have to move. They're not stressed about being able to pay the mortgage. They can take the time to mourn properly for the loss of their loved one, and do the things that are important for the family's mental health and heart health, and nurturing of each other, and not worry about the financial problems that most people, or a lot of people, don't take the time to put together a plan to protect them from. That's where I come in. Dawn is still out here helping people protect things that they have. And one of the big things that we work with is called mortgage protection. And what that simply is, I'm going to give you the basics, but there's a lot more details down below in the written area. But in a mortgage protection scenario, here's what happens. In the event that you die, and you will, sorry, but we all will, we just don't know when. But when you die, we're going to structure something to either take care of the payments on the mortgage or to be able to pay off the mortgage, depending on where you're at in age and budget and health. Now, that's imperatively important. A lot of people are under the mistaken thoughts that their home, their house, is an asset. It is not an asset until such time as you either sell it or possibly refinance it and take some of that equity out. But in the meantime, it's a liability that's taking money out of your wallet every month. And it's not cash that's growing interest. It is appreciated in equity, but it's not growing interest. But you can't just tap in and use it if you needed to unless you go get a loan or sell the home. So in between that time, it's a liability. But it's the one liability we like, right? It's our safe haven for our families. It's where, as you grow older like myself, it's where the kids and the grandkids come back to visit and have fun. It's where the memories are built. It's where family unity is established. But what happens in a death is, too often, the surviving spouse does not have the income capability on their own to be able to continue the mortgage payments And so they get in a bind. And some things can happen. And think about this realistically. Does the mortgage company care whether you pay off the house the month after you pass away or not? No, they don't care. They just want their monthly payment. But if they don't get that, they're taking the house. Well, if you've already got equity in the house and you weren't able to sell it in time, and that happens, as you all know, 4 or 5 years ago, you couldn't get the good value for your home. So if you couldn't sell it and collect the equity out of it, guess who got that equity for down the road? The bank or somebody else, an investor. But your family didn't. What about being able to move it quickly if you had the choice? Well, even still, you may have a month or 2 or 3 that you need to be able to cover payments on. So there are things that can come into play because, unfortunately, we don't get to time our death very well. Now, if you knew your exact death date, Don could jump right in there a week ahead of time, take care of things for you. But since we can't do that, we need to do some structural planning that covers all of our bases. Now, that's going to happen at some point. We just don't know when. But here's what a lot of people don't get. Did you know that there are more foreclosures on homes because people have lost the ability to produce an income, have gotten terminally ill, have gotten chronic illnesses? They have had heart attacks or strokes or cancer or something else that has taken them out of the workforce and they're no longer able to go out and produce an income. They're striving to take care of themselves. The family is dealing with emotional trauma, and there's nothing that they can do on the financial side. And eventually what happens? Family's packing. They've lost the home. Well, what if you had a program that in the event that you had a terminal illness or a chronic illness or something else gone south in that area where you couldn't produce an income because of one of those types of things, or maybe you had a car accident or fell off a cliff from hiking or whatever it might be, right? That happens and you got disabled and couldn't work. Wouldn't it be nice to have a way to be able to make the mortgage payment during that time? See, these are the prior plannings that people think they've got covered when they get a little bit of life insurance or something from work. And I'm not saying not to get that. It's the cheapest rent rate you can get on insurance. But it's not something you can take with you generally. So what we do is we structure this. So in the event that something goes south or you die, your family, your loved ones, they're not packing. They're not stuffing boxes. They're not hauling things out to the U-Haul. They're still attending the same schools you worked hard to put them in. They're still living in the same neighborhood. The memories continue to be built right where you started. That's what mortgage protection is. Now, are there different ways you can structure it? Yeah. We kind of meet with you and I can chat with you and show you some specifics that are geared towards you. But that's kind of the general thing. My thought and what I wanted to get across today is this is an industry, a market, an area where most people don't have a lot of knowledge. And that's okay. You know what? I don't know how they refine gas. I don't have a clue of the machines they use. I don't know what they do to the oil to get it to the point where it's gas that I can pump in the car. But I do know I can go to the gas station, I can pump gas in my car, go about doing what I got to do and not worry about it. This is what we do for you for your mortgage, so that if something happens to you, you don't have to worry about it. Your family doesn't have to worry about it because things are already set up and taken care of. Hey, just an education. Wanted to be able to put that out for you. Hopefully, you'll stop by my webpage. It's an easy one, guys. It's www.winwiththesarge.com. Check out what I do. For those of you who may have an interest in helping people like I do, it's a great career to be in. It's financially rewarding. It's mentally rewarding. And there are times when it's extremely emotionally rewarding. So, hope that gave you some insight, some value. Again, it's called Mortgage Protection. You can stop by my site there and make contact with me if you have some questions or would like some information or a little bit more detail specific to you. More importantly, take some action. Don't get caught off guard, or more importantly, don't let your family get caught off guard. Hey, this is Sarge. I'm going to run. Got to get this going. And you know what? It's wintertime. We're having ham hocks and beans. And you know, we got to eat when it's good, right? Sarge is signing off, and I will be back soon, and I'll see you then. Cut! Oh, that was pretty cool, huh? Did you hear my cut?